What happens when a group of 6 criminals carry out a bank robbery with fake guns? Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be watching the 2020 heist movie The Heist of the Century, based on a true robbery that took place in Argentina. The bank robbery done by these robbers was so popular that it was called Heist of the Century, and the group had managed to rob $15 million from 147 safes in the bank. Despite successfully robbing the bank, the group was later caught after a very stupid mistake. So please watch till the end to find out. Set in 2005, the film starts with a troubled man named Fernando Araujo, who struggles to discover his vocation. At first, he decides to find passion in painting, but when that doesn't work out, he goes to a psychiatrist dejected. After the therapist encourages him, he tries to discover the field of martial arts, but at the end of the day, he finds no spark in it. At night, while standing outside a bank, he gets an epiphany to commit a robbery using the sewage system. The following morning, he goes to his friend Sebastian to pitch the idea of the heist. According to Fernando, the heist can be carried out by drilling a hole underground. At first, Sebastian tells him that the plan is crazy, but then asks him to contact a funder so they can gather money to buy cars and appropriate tools for the heist. Fernando then visits a friend named Doc DeBaza, asking him to invest money in the heist. DeBaza tells him that he is out of money but refers him to a man named Mario Vitette, who is an expert thief and a wealthy man. He goes to his daughter Lucia's salon to get a haircut. Lucia invites him for dinner, but Mario turns down the offer, telling her that he is quite busy. Lucia asks him not to indulge himself in activities that can put him in danger. Mario assures her of it and before leaving, leaves a stack of money for her. At night, Mario breaks into a huge office and smoothly steals money from a locker. Before escaping, he runs into a female janitor named Carmen and pretends to be a new worker in the office. He then quickly slides out of the office and enters a bar. However, before entering, he notices a car following him and thinks someone is spying on him. Fernando turns out to be in the car, and he is attacked by Mario, who thinks Fernando is a cop. After Fernando assures him that he is just a bystander and is unarmed, Mario leaves him alone. At home, Mario listens to a voicemail from his friend DeBaza, who tells him about Fernando and the interesting job Fernando is proposing. The following day, Mario goes to meet Fernando at an ice cream shop where the two chat about the tactics of robbing. Fernando then takes Mario on a drive and on his way tells him that once a person has over $10,000, the cashier must deposit them in the underground vault. He then takes Mario in front of Bank of Rio and drops a measuring tape in the sewer next to it. The duo then goes into the sewer underground where Fernando measures that the bank is only 18 meters above them. Mario likes the idea and agrees to be a part of it. Later, he goes to Lucia's house to have dinner with her, but she expresses resentment as Mario didn't show up when she asked him earlier. Later, Mario and DeBaza arrive at Fernando's house to discuss the heist. Mario hesitates at first, seeing Fernando's blunders, but DeBaza assures him that Fernando is a smart man. Mario then tells Fernando about the motion sensors that are fixed in the bank vault, but Fernando tells him that they can get away with them. The next day, Fernando goes to the bank with Sebastian and attempts to secretly capture pictures from the inside. However, the surveillance camera catches him acting suspiciously, and he is arrested by the police. However, before the cop could go through his camera, Fernando smartly slides out the memory card and ends up getting released. Later, the group discusses the heist plan while studying the blueprint of the bank. DeBaza measures the distance from the bank gate to the drainage with the help of a bicycle so that no one suspects him. After finding out the measurements, Fernando and the team decide to dig a tunnel from the sewer to the bank. After inspecting the sewer, the group returns back and Fernando realizes that it will take a long time to break into each locker of the bank. So he proposes to study the bank safe once to find out an easy way to break all 400 lockers. For this, Mario is asked to rent a safe at another branch of Bank of Rio to find out how the safe looks. After studying the type of lock, the gang returns back to the sewer to start digging the tunnel. Sebastian tells Mario that he requires theodolite to dig the tunnel further. Mario hesitates as theodolite costs $3,000, and he is not ready to invest any more in the heist. The next morning, Mario gets angry at Fernando for getting a vibrant van for the heist that will be eye-catching to everyone. Just then, a cop car arrives and asks the van driver for documents. Alberto, another guy who is also a part of the heist, appears and helps his team to get rid of the cops. After getting rid of the cops, Mario questions Alberto about his wife's presence in the heist. Alberto tells him that his wife, the Turk, won't cause any problems and that he has nowhere else to leave her. At night, while digging the tunnel, a large piece of land falls on Fernando and Sebastian, destroying the drill machine in the process. When Fernando talks about buying a new drill machine, Mario gets furious and starts thinking that all their efforts will go in vain as Fernando still doesn't know how to break into the bank safe. Later, before going to sleep, Fernando gets an idea, and he rushes to Mario's apartment to tell him about it. He tells Mario that the bank security system is tight at night, when the bank is closed, so they must enter the bank during public hours, as there will be no fear of the security alarm going off. Moreover, the hole created can be used to escape the bank rather than enter it. Mario is ecstatic to hear the plan, and eventually the team prepares themselves for the heist day. Finally, the big day arrives, and the group enters the bank with masks on. They start taking people hostage and ask the cashiers to fill bags with money. Soon the cops arrive, but before they could enter the bank, Fernando takes a customer hostage and aims a gun at his head in front of the police to stop them from entering the bank. Soon enough, they disable all the security cameras in the bank and ask Sebastian to break into the bank through the tunnel. While Mario monitors the hostages, Fernando and Sebastian break into the bank safes and start collecting the valuables. Mario, who had suffered from anxiety previously, asks the cops to evacuate the building rooftop or else he will shoot a hostage. The cops do as asked while Fernando empties the safes. Miguel, the policeman who is in charge of the heist, starts negotiating with Mario. So Mario releases an old lady as a sign of goodwill, whose birthday he celebrated with a piece of candy and a candle. Miguel keeps asking Mario to surrender, but to no avail. Mario pretends to be scared and insists on speaking to a prosecutor, who Miguel immediately summons. Upon speaking to the prosecutor, Mario asks him to contact his lawyer. When Miguel asks Mario for the details of his lawyer, Mario gives him a random phone number, asking him to speak to his lawyer directly. Meanwhile, the machine that Sebastian used to break into the safes heats up and requires considerable time to cool down. On the other hand, the prosecutor calls the lawyer and Mario answers his call. Mario tries to buy time while pretending to be the lawyer. Finally, Fernando manages to empty a lot of safes and starts sending the valuables out of the bank through the tunnel. Meanwhile, Miguel figures out that Mario is fooling him by pretending to be a lawyer. Just then, it is revealed that all the weapons the gang brought inside the bank are replicas, as Mario and Fernando never wished to hurt anyone. At last, the robbers prepare to leave the bank through the tunnel. On the outside, Miguel insists the authorities check the sewage system, but no one pays heed to what he says. Just then, the hostages start calling their family members from the inside. The armed forces realize that Miguel was right, and they enter the sewer. Miguel, on the other hand, enters the bank with the forces. However, before they could catch the robbers, they smoothly slide out of the bank into the sewer. They had set up 2 inflatable boats to escape with the money and gold. After loading themselves in the stolen bags, they reach a designated stop and start climbing up into the van. Sebastian ascends all the bags into the van and the gang escapes successfully from the neighborhood. All the cops are flabbergasted at the smartness of the thieves and curse themselves for not figuring out the master plan beforehand. Meanwhile, the robbers arrive at Fernando's house and celebrate the successful heist while looking at the treasure they managed to steal. They set the van on fire to get rid of any kind of evidence. The news of the heist becomes the talk of the town, and everyone appreciates the organization and preparation with which the robbers planned the robbery. All the gang members reunite with their partners and celebrate the big win. Unexpectedly, Alberto's wife, the Turk, finds him cheating on her with another girl. This outrages her and she bursts at him for betraying her. Enraged, she goes to the police station and files a complaint against her husband. Moreover, she reveals to the police that her husband was involved in the famous bank heist, and that all the money and gold that he stole is hidden on his house roof. The police are alerted by the complaint and go after Alberto as soon as possible. Alberto takes the police to his house, where they ransack the house and find all the hidden treasure stolen from the bank. The news of Alberto's arrest spread like wildfire, and all the news channels started reporting it. Fernando sees the news on TV and flips out upon seeing that their efforts went in vain. Before the cops could arrest him, he escapes the town with his friend to keep himself from getting imprisoned. One after the other, the police start chasing all the members of the gang, and they end up getting arrested. Sebastian's house is raided, and he and his family are arrested for the theft. Lastly, Mario, who had been spending quality time with his daughter, is tracked. Mario is shocked to see the police in his house premises, and he locks Lou inside the bathroom to protect her from the cops. but the cops break into his house and handcuff both him and his daughter. Sometime later, Lou comes to see her father in the prison and offers to build a case for him to get him released soon, but Mario stops her and asks her not to indulge herself in his mess. He feels embarrassed in front of his daughter as he didn't turn out to be a role model for her. Meanwhile, Fernando, who had escaped into the mountains, is seen spending life in tents. A few days later, a couple of armed forces cars approach him, asking him the reason for his stay amidst the mountains. Fernando tells them that he is celebrating a spiritual retreat, but despite that, he ends up getting arrested. After a few years, all the gang members were released from prison as they had used fake guns to carry out the robbery and hadn't hurt anyone. Fernando gets released at last as he was the last one to be caught, and Mario comes to receive him. The film ends with both the friends reuniting and leaving the prison premises while smoking a cigarette. This movie has a rating of 7.1 on IMDb. I hope you all liked this video. If yes, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more movie recaps.